Hi, you guys. Dr. Jackie here. Listen, I just want to take a couple minutes to show you how to find complete sentences, and in those complete sentences, any prepositional phrases. So if you think about a complete sentence, we have a subject plus a verb, and they combine together to create a complete thought. In other words, the sentence doesn't need anything else for it to stand alone and be complete. And then I said we're also going to look at prepositional phrases. Prepositional phrases, they show relationships. I'm just going to put that in parentheses. They show relationships between nouns. And remember that nouns are just naming words. Anything you can name is a noun, okay? And so it always is the preposition plus a noun. And that makes a prepositional phrase. So a preposition plus a noun, all right? So let's go ahead into the first sentence here and see if we can make it out as a full sentence and find any of the prepositional phrases. So the first sentence is, learning to speak a second language is helpful for businesses. Now, the first thing we should do is find the verb. And verb means action. It literally means action. But we have this group of words in English called the to-be verbs. And they're kind of like the hippie verbs. They don't really show action. It's a state of being. So like think about like hippies just hanging around, dude, right? They're just being. They're just there. That's the to be verb in English, and it's really common. So it's something you want to remember. So the is, are, was, were, am, be, being, been, they're the to be verbs. And as soon as you see them, you know it's a verb. So in the first sentence here, we see is, and we know it's a to be verb. So let's just color it so we know it's the verb. And then there's a really cool way to find the subject in a sentence. You just have to ask the question, who or what is helpful for businesses? And the answer is learning to speak a second language. But all this is extra. So the thing that's helpful is learning, right? That's the subject of the sentence. Now, just to make sure, we often find the prepositional phrases because the subject and the verb will never come in a prepositional phrase. So when we cut them out, we can say, okay, they're not prepositional phrases. So remember, the prepositions are little tiny words usually. And this one looks like a preposition. And in general, it is a preposition. But in this case, it's to plus a verb. Speak is a verb. And so prepositional phrases are to plus the noun. So in this case, we have an infinitive. If you think about Buzz Lightyear, to infinity and beyond, to is infinitive. It's an infinitive here. And it literally is the name of a noun. Okay, so that's not a prepositional phrase. It's an infinitive. But for looks like a preposition. And in fact, it is a preposition because businesses is a noun. It's a naming word. So preposition plus a noun. And that's a prepositional phrase. So you can see that the subject or the verb isn't in there. So we're safe with what we have. So we have a subject and a verb and a complete thought. So that's a sentence. Let's do this one. They like to hire bilingual workers for their offices. In this case, there is a verb that shows action. And the action in here is like. So like is showing the action. What are you doing? You're liking, okay? So you ask the question, who or what likes to hire bilingual workers for their offices? And here, we might answer businesses, but we know that they is standing in for the business. It's a pronoun that stands in for them. So we have a subject and a verb. And now look, this looks again like a preposition. So prepositions are to plus the noun, and in this case, it's a verb. So this again is not a prepositional phrase, but an infinitive. But here's a preposition. For is a preposition, and then offices is a noun or a naming word. Anything that you can name is a noun. So in fact, that's a prepositional phrase. Now, we can take those out of the sentences and it won't make a difference, right? We could take them out and the sentence will still be a complete thought. So they like to hire bilingual workers. Perfectly good sentence. And we can add the little bling on here. So we have a subject and a verb and a complete thought. So here are two sentences right away that has a complete thoughts. Let's just do two more. All right. The moon moves in front of the sun tonight. In here we have a clear action verb, and the action is moves. So let's color it up here. And what moves in front of the sun tonight? The answer to that is your subject, and that's moons. Okay. Now look, here's one of those little preposition words, and it comes with a noun, a naming word. So that's a prepositional phrase. And look, here's another one. So of is a little preposition, and sun is a noun, so that's a prepositional phrase. Together we have a subject and a verb and a complete thought. Look, we can take the prepositions out. The moon moves tonight, and it's still a complete thought. But in front of the sun gives us a little extra bling, a little extra detail in the sentence. So it's nice to have. And now let's look at the last one. It is called an eclipse of the sun. Well, remember, this one's not going to show action. This is one of our to be verbs. All right, so we're just going to, we know it's a verb as soon as we see a to be verb. And what is called an eclipse of the sun? It. Okay, so it is our subject. And then if we look through, we can see a little preposition word here, of, and sun is a noun. So of the sun is a prepositional phrase. It is called an eclipse. That's a complete sentence. Of the sun adds a little more detail. And that's how we use, and that's how we make sure we have complete sentences and how we can find prepositional phrases. All right, you guys, take care.